Yo, what's going on guys? It's Ruin here, and today I'm going to talk about mangas in this new series that I would like to call Manga Mondays, even though it's not Monday anymore. Pretty sure by the time I upload this, it's not going to be Monday. Anyways, I'm going to talk about series mostly in Shonen Jump. I might talk about new different series that aren't in Shonen Jump. Maybe something like Matoi Slave, some Pseudo Harem. You never know. I'm just getting my feet a little bit wet in this series. It's sort of a podcast, I guess. I don't know what to call this video yet. But for sure it's going to be Manga Mondays. But it will never land on Mondays. Alright, now that it's out of the way, we can finally talk about the headline for this video. Which is... you know what? Kimetsu no Yaiba is really over. There's no chapter this week. It's really done. Of course, it's not the headline of this video. I'm actually talking about the new one-shot that's probably going to be serialized by the same guys who did Food Wars. If you guys know, if you guys see this new one-shot in this week's issue of Shonen Jump, I was reading through it. I didn't look at the author or the artist. Not that it matters because I'm not familiar with the author and the artist for Shokugeki no Soma, but as I was reading the new one shot, I was like, this art is oddly familiar to Shokugeki no Soma. And after I read it, you know what? To my surprise, it is them. So yeah, if you guys didn't know, they have a new one shot out this week, which is called Yuugen's All Ghouls Homeroom. And my first thought about it is, you know what? It's pretty interesting, you know? I don't think we haven't had any supernatural kind of ghoulish thing in Shonen Jump in a while. I mean, I guess you can count some of the new ones they have now, but they're more gag related. I feel like this is more of a serious endeavor towards like manga horror genre kind of thing. I don't know, I'm kind of enjoying it, but I'm kind of weary at the same time because knowing Food Wars, somewhere along the way he lost his footing. I don't know, I feel like he ran out of ideas in Food Wars, and then he just kind of didn't know what to do with the story, went nowhere, got repetitive and boring. That's why I dropped it. So I'm hoping it won't happen to this series, you know? It seemed promising. I feel like there's some space, I guess. There's some ways for it to be some serious, some kind of Bleach kind of thing, you know. There's a little bit of fun stuff in it, you know, a little bit of gag manga-ish in it. It's a bit fun, you know. Although there's some reservations. Like, I guess some people would think that, oh, Yuugen's kind of creepy, you know. He's hitting on, he's hitting on the high school girls. He's hitting on, well, he hit on one high school girl, I think, if I remember correctly. He was hitting on one, and the one that he saved. And then he was hitting on the really old, not really old, but like an old custodian in the beginning too, where they tried to like do a switcheroo. It was like, this guy's hitting on the girl. On the one of the teachers heard him. He's like, this guy's hitting on one of my students. And then we turn around, he's actually hitting on one of the older custodians. I see how people might interpret that and like, oh wow, this guy's kind of creepy. But I feel like as long as they don't overtly go into that kind of stuff, they change a little bit, maybe we can, you know, pull back those people in. They kind of got turned off by that kind of behavior from Yuugen. I don't know, I've read a lot of manga, and then knowing Japan culture, older men tend to date younger women there. It's kind of a bit of a norm there, as far as I can tell. So the thing with plus, I think what legal age there is 14, 13. So I think it's a bit of their culture, I guess. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I think it's not a scene as weird for like older men dating younger female there. I think a lot of things that throw people off or like turn people off away from it. It's like he's trying to find someone to settle down with, someone to marry, and he's actually seeing these students, which is an all-female school, by the way, all-female student school. He's kind of seeing them as candidates for like, oh, gonna be my bride someday. You know what I mean? Oh, by the way, I'm just drinking iced tea in a mug. I tend to do that. I like to eat the ice afterwards. Anyway, being sidelined. Yeah, I can see people being turned off by that, but as long as I keep it light and maybe not too creepy, I think I'll be fine. You know. And to play devil's advocate here, to defend Yuugen, they mention it. They mention it in the manga itself that he's kind of a guy that sees the inner beauty. You know, they're the quote unquote the spirit inside. You know, like, oh, your spirit inside is so beautiful. That's why in the beginning he was hitting on the custodian, because it doesn't matter to him. Like, oh, as long as you see the inside, it's like, oh, your spirit's really, really pretty. Your spirit's really bright and majestic and all that stuff. So I can see like him being like that. It's like oh, and yeah, and then also another thing that they mentioned in the manga was the way he dresses. The way he dresses is kind of like all over the place. In the beginning, he's dressed as someone from the Matrix, and then at the end of the manga, he's dressed as a cowboy. You know, and then the lady, his gonna be partner for sure. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be sidekick. His the heroine. The heroine figured out like, oh, it's because he doesn't care about outward appearances. You know, because his defense was always like, oh, the lady at the store told me this is what's hip, so I just kind of bought it. I just took her word for it. So that's me in defense of him. So he doesn't really care at all about outward appearances, because he is a medium. So I guess he's just seeing like the people inside, their spirit inside. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the future if they tend to lean on this kind of like him hitting on the girls. And like I said, if they do it in a less creepy way, maybe like just joking, it doesn't really bother me. I can see how it can bother other people. You know? But seeing how I've read a lot of mangas and watched a lot of animes, it's kind of a bit of in their culture, I guess. We'll see. We'll see. It's only the first chapter, guys. Come on, calm down. Alright? Other than that, I enjoyed it. It's pretty fun. I can see where it goes. I can see where it can go. All the spirits and stuff. But then again, I could be a little biased, because last season I watched a lot of was that Kyokosu or something? That show where the wisdom girl, I don't remember, Kyokosuri, something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I'm kind of like a little bit hungry for some supernatural ghoulish stuff kind of thing, you know. Plus, oh, when I was reading this, it kind of reminded me of Meikyu-chan, something like that, where it's a web manga originally, where this girl, she can see this like grotesque, scary ghosts and whatnot, and then she's the only one who can see it, and she pretends that she can't see them, because if she sees them, if she gives it away that these ghosts can be seen, if the ghost finds out like, oh, you can see me, they attack her. They attack her. So throughout this whole this manga is basically her trying to avoid all these ghosts that she can see, all these spirits, these evil spirits that she can see. It's a really nice manga, by the way. If you guys want to read this after reading this Yuugen's Old Ghouls Homeroom, if you guys want to check out Meikyu-chan something, it's I'll put a link down in the description below, but if you guys want to check it out, it's really good. A lot of plot is being introduced now, because I think it's already been picked up actually, so you can see a lot of plot being dropped already, being like, we're getting more plot basically, so it's really good. If you guys want to get a supplemental read, I guess, if you guys got hungry after reading Yuugen's Old Ghouls Homeroom, you guys want to check that out, it's pretty good. Miki-chan, something like that. But yeah, overall, yeah, I'm kind of optimistic about Yuugen's manga. I want to see how it goes. Considering his track record, the author, and the artist, they had a pretty long series in Shonen Jump, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets picked up for serialization. But of course, I'm pretty sure it all depends on the questionnaire, I guess, the survey they do. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see like, chapter 1, if it gets picked up, and a couple series down the line. Yeah, I enjoyed it. You guys should give that one a try, and we'll go ahead and check out the next series I'm going to talk about. This one, pretty interesting too, and it got a lot of people heated with its first chapter debuting last week. Was it last week? Yeah. Well, anyways, it's a story by Kenji Ichima and art by Tsunehiro Date, which is another duo, I guess, another team. One doing story and then one doing art. And yep, you guessed it. It's a time paradox Ghostwriter. I really enjoyed this one. It has such an interesting premise. Basically, his his microwave got melted, got zapped to hell by this freak thunderstorm, this freak lightning that hit it, and it started spouting out Jump series, but not just any Jump series, like Jump series 10 years down the line, And the first chapter, like I said, it got a lot of people heated, which I understand, but it's the first chapter, guys. Come on. The first chapter basically is the main cliffhanger I would try to see. I think I'll try to suggest is basically how is he gonna handle the plagiarism. If you guys haven't read the first chapter, by the way, it's basically he's been trying to fulfill his goal of becoming a manga artist, a mangaka. Basically, he wants to get his own series serialized. He's been trying. He moved to the city, and he just can't catch a break. He's hardworking as hell. You hate to see those kind of people. They work really hard, but they just can't catch a break. And the first chapter, that's basically his break. His microwave gets fried. Saying, hey, you can't cook microwave meals anymore, man. You gotta learn how to cook real food, So I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna turn this into a time machine, but not just any time machine, but it'll just give you a Shonen Jump series from 10 years into the future. That's basically just in the first chapter. So basically, he had this weekly jump. He started reading it, and there's this one particular series that really caught his attention so much that he actually cried reading it. It was just that good. He couldn't stop reading it. And then he fell asleep, and the manga disappeared. The issue disappeared, and then he was like, "Did that happen? Did I dream it?" Because that was after this whole thing that happened where he got rejected, and then everything. The pressure was too much for him, and all this bad. Like he was just having a bad day, And then after waking up from all that, he was like, "Did that really happen?" He was like, did that really happen, or just having a bad dream because, all that stuff that happened to me, Did that really happen? Because it's kind of too weird that a manga from 10 years into the future, just came out of my microwave oven. But, yeah. So, trying to recover, he was like, you know what, that series is really good. I'm going to try and write it down, So, basically, he had an idea that came from the future, and he started to flesh it out and started to, write it, make a transcript of it, and then he submitted it to his editor in Jump, right? I'm assuming it's Shonen Jump. And then when they read it, they were like, "Oh my god, this is so fucking good!" This is really, really good. You know what? We're just gonna go ahead. We're not gonna make this go through all the bureaucracy. We're just, you know what? print this. We're gonna put this in the next issue. Basically, it's that good. Even the editor-in-chief saw it. Yeah, this whole incident where it ended up the editor-in-chief seeing it, and it was like, you know what? Put in the next series. We're printing this, baby. We're printing it. It was that good. And then after all that chapter, people are like, oh, come on. That's plagiarism right there. People are gonna people are getting mad. People are typing furiously on their keyboards like, this manga sucks, man. They're promoting plagiarism, like, everyone's getting mad. Okay, maybe exaggerating, but people got heated. People got interested. It's like, how are they gonna handle this throughout the series? Are they just gonna move it aside? And I'm like, is it really plagiarism? I mean, he had an idea, but he just fleshed it out, And that's where chapter 2 comes in, which is this week's issue. Right off the bat, they addressed it. His what do you call this? His mental state? No, his oh god, I'm having a brain fart. But his views on it, on how he sees it. He's like having conflict inside him. He's like, you know what? I basically plagiarized that because after the success of that first chapter, he took a break, and then all his family, Reddit, friends, people, they were like, "Oh man, you're really good," You really did. He didn't come home after that. He basically went home. Unbeknownst to him, the frigging microwave is still spewing out chapters upon chapters of Shonen Jump from the future. Oh, I don't think anyone mentioned it yet, but it seems like the issues disappear once he's read it. Once he's read it, it'll just disappear. But if he doesn't read it, it just stays there. It just piles up, right? Okay, so back to my story. He's basically out of town, and then people are like, "Oh, we love your story," and then he was like, and he was having so he has having conflict interest. Like, I mean, did I really dream it? Was that really my idea? And then it stepped up notch. My voice cracked. It stepped up notch there when he came back home and he saw all these issues on his floor in his room. It's like, oh my god, I didn't dream it. This shit is actually spewing out issues of Shonen Jump from the future, And so he started reading it some more, and he was like, oh man, it's really good. And now it's more clear than ever that I plagiarized this. He's having he's having conflict of interest. He's having he's really fighting an inside. It's really eating it up on the inside for him. I'm like, man, I can't do this. I can't continue this. I did a disservice to this person. Whoever wrote it in the future, I stole this feature from them, this amazing series that they wrote, and then he went on about diverging timelines and all that stuff because it's the thing with this anime. I mean, this manga, they had to some kind of explain it a little bit, I guess. And then it becomes worse because his manager, right, or his editor, right, and he was like, "What are you doing?" Because he's finally decided that I can't go on with this. I'll just write another series. This is good enough. I'll stop there. I basically plagiarized it, and then he had a meeting with his editor. He's like, "What are you doing? You can't stop this really, really awesome series." Everyone liked it, Yeah, his editor's even like, it's your decision, but you can't stop. Kind of a dick move. Like, you can't stop, bro. It's really good, but it's your decision. I'm not saying you should. I'm not forcing you to keep writing, but it's your decision. But you know what? It's really good, man. It's these, and then he shows all these fan mail. You have these all like a sack of these fan mails. He's telling him like, dude, I'm not telling you to stop writing, but you should look at all these fan mails that you got. So it made it worse for him, and I'm glad that they actually tackled it immediately, like in the second chapter. Because it was they left you hanging in the first chapter. You're like, are they gonna tackle the plagiarism on the first chapter? And they did, which is I like that. I like that. And another thing is even though they like to talk about this amazing series that he wrote, for Shonen Jump, the one shot, and then how in the Shonen Jump in the future, the 10-year one, you just get the series is ongoing. I like how they never really put in more details. The name of the series is basically I think it's White Knight, something like that. They made it vague, They kind of left this amazingness to the minds of the readers, because once you shatter the illusion of and describe how it's great, I think it kind of shatters this image that people have. So I like how they kept that vague. And also another thing is at the end of the chapter, they had a confrontation already from the original author of the series. After the meeting, after he got convinced, even though he didn't really want to, he's probably like, I need to find a way to keep on continuing the series, right? The end of the chapter, he ran into the original artist, the original writer. It's the chick. He was like, "Hey, it's me. I'm Itsuki Aino." So it's a good cliffhanger. I'm really looking forward to the next chapter. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know how they're gonna do this. And with all this stuff going on, with the duos, with writer in the series, Shonen Jump series right now, one doing art, one doing story, I feel like it might go that way. After this confrontation, they were like, "Hey, how'd you get the idea for the story?" The girl's gonna confront him, like, why did you plagiarize me? Where'd you get the idea, bro? She's gonna talk about it. She's gonna pick his brain, like, basically. So I feel like my prediction for the next chapter is he might end up being the artist for the series. They're gonna have a talk, and then I'm not sure, if he's gonna tell her, like, "Oh yeah, I've been getting this Jump series from the future, and then I thought it was a dream, but I read your series, and then it was totally good, and then I kind of just wrote it down the next day. I thought it was a dream, but it's actually real." I don't know if he'll tell her that, but depending on the confrontation next week, I feel like they might end up working together, or they might go the way of him being the bad guy. Maybe Death Note route where the MC becomes the bad guy. I don't know. We'll see. But so far, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I like that they address the plagiarism cliffhanger last week, and now on the end of the second chapter, they like, damn, okay, the confrontation right away from the original author. I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the newer titles that I actually look forward to this week, among other things. Yeah, I like this new series so far. I might read it some more, and then I'm gonna drop it and let it catch up for a year, so I can binge on it. Sometimes you just gotta let it binge. Read it by arc, not by chapter by chapter. I feel like it's more enjoyable like that. Anyways, on to the next series. We are gonna talk about My Hero Academia, chapter 272. And all I can say about this chapter is, what now? Like, whoa, Is the manga gonna be replaced? Is it no longer gonna be My Hero Academia? Will it name in the future as League of Villains? Because after that last chapter, I'm like, damn, Shiggy. Like, whoa, we're experiencing power creep here, like crazy. If you guys didn't know, Shigaraki woke up, and it was fun when the League of Villains had all of these power-ups. When they had the arc where they fought with Reed Destro, right? And now, the doctor worked on him, and now he woke up. Even though it's 75%, he still had that power where he doesn't have to directly touch things. In the previous chapter, it was I don't know, it was really good. It was beautiful the way they the way they portrayed like these hands holding Shigaraki is actually things that are holding him back. You know, there were metaphors in the previous chapter, and now that he's let go of them, he woke up and it's just, he's super powerful, man. Like how are the heroes gonna do this? You know, at the end of the chapter, he basically destroyed half a mountain without destroying it. He decimated people. He destroyed everything. He decayed people. You know, it's like the Undead Unluck. He killed them all. Basically, like, damn, Shiggy, dude, you're at 75%? He wasn't even full strength in this one. You know, they interrupted it, but he was still able to wake up, but it was only at 75%. But damn, son, that power creep is crazy. How are they going to fight this? He doesn't need to touch directly. I think as long as there's an object there. I don't know if wind works as well. If touching wind, he can do that. I'm not sure. I think he, like, ground, only physical things, like solid objects. I don't know if it can transfer through wind, but man, is this the arc where the League of Villains pretty much take over the manga? I don't know how the heroes are going to respond to this, you know? And it was pretty cool that Deku, by the way, Deku is at 45% now, you know? He mentioned it. He activated 45% right before the big explosion of dust particles of living things, basically. As I was saying, Deku, the 45%. It was pretty cool that he could sense him. You know, they're like tied by fate. You know, when Shigaraki woke up, he was like, "Oh, he's here." You know, I can feel him, kind of thing. You know, because they're from the same. They branch. They're basically from the same quirk. The branch, Deku's quirk branch off from All for One, and he has One for All. By the way, if you're having trouble trying to remember it, you know, the evil one is All for One. You know, everyone for me. You know, I want everything for me, like selfish thing. All for one. That's how I try to remember it. And then One for All is selfless. You try to save people. One for All, he serves the people, kind of thing. That's how I try to remember it. Anyways, I think that's right. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but damn, you know, I can't, man, dude, I don't even know what to say to these chapters, but so far the arc's been interesting, you know, and you know how I mentioned, like, I like to drop things, stop reading chapters, because I like it to advance. By the way, I'm not going to talk about One Piece in this one, because I stopped in the beginnings of Wano arc, so yeah, I'm that far behind. I'm like almost 2 years into it. Almost 2 years of I haven't read One Piece because it's still one arc. I asked my friends, like, oh, it's still one arc. Okay, so I won't read it. I want to binge on the one arc. Anyways, like I was saying, it's one of those instances where I want to stop reading this and let it advance and let the arc progress, just so that I could binge on it and really take it all in as the author intended. Because I feel like you get more satisfaction from it if you read it arc to arc. You know, the whole storytelling is pretty much complete. You have this beginning, middle, end. You have the conflict and all that stuff. I feel like that's how you consume this kind of storytelling, because it's so good. It's good storytelling, man. That's what it is. It's pretty good storytelling. And man, you know what? I'm looking forward to it, but and our boy Shield guy, Cross, he died, man. He had to sacrifice himself as one of the cooler power ones. Does this mean also Bunny Girl died? Did she die? You know, did Endeavor die? They were still in the area when all that explosion happened. You know, people were trying to evacuate innocent people. You know, the townsfolk and animals. There was like actually a cute panel where one of the heroes was evacuating the animals. It was really cute. Did they die too? Because man, the explosion was huge. It's like half a mountain. And not only that, they still have to worry about Redestro. They still have to worry about what's his name? The guy who's always looking for his master. You know, when Shigaraki woke up, he was like, "Oh, I smell master." You know, because the thing was, if you guys haven't caught up to it yet, All for One basically transferred his original perk to Shigaraki, which is why I feel like people have mentioned it before, like when that big fight with All Might and All For One were fighting, and basically All Might was saying like, "Oh, you're fighting different." Basically because he doesn't have his original strength anymore. He doesn't have his original quirk. Basically, the doctor had it, and then he's trying to transplant it, find a way to transplant it to Shigaraki. So that's where we are right now. And man, I wonder how they're gonna do the heroes now. I wonder how they're gonna do Deku. You know, when all these past One For All users basically revealed themselves, basically Avatar mode. When Deku had Avatar mode, man, I was hoping he would have some kind of level up soon, but so far it's just the Black Spider-Man move that he has. You know, I want to see more. I want to see how they're gonna tackle this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna stop reading it. You know, it's really interesting right now, and I don't want to give myself the that thirst of waiting chapter to chapter. You know, I just want to binge on this because this arc is really good. And if you guys not on it yet, jump on it, or maybe not. Maybe you listen to this video and then you wait for the arc to finish and then binge on it, like what I would do. You know. But so far, damn, this chapter was, it's too good, man. This chapter's good. All right, the next series that I like to talk about, and probably one of the more recent series that surprised me the most. It's Undead Unluck, chapter 17, right? Chapter 17, yeah, we're on chapter 17, right? When this manga first started, I was reading it. You know, the art style is nothing to write about. It reminded me more of like somewhere between early 2000s, 90s kind of art style. You know, a bit rough around edges kind of thing. And the storyline, I remember the first few chapters, I'm like, are they gonna go the ecchi route? Is this more of a just fun series like Black Clover? You know, one you don't really want to really dig into. But as far as I'm concerned, the more chapters I read into it, the more pleasantly I'm surprised. This series is good. This series is a sleeper, and I think you guys should read more of this, actually. One of the few things I like about this series is how the author likes to drop hints, like drop little things, you know? He likes to drop little clues and whatnot. And a lot of the times, it's a lot more complicated, it's a lot more deeper than that, you know? Like the most recent few chapters, we learn more about Victor or Andy. You know, his true form is Victor the Conqueror. You know, Andy is basically his alter ego throughout the centuries, or I don't know how long. He's been basically, he doesn't die because he's a zombie. He's undead. That's his powers. And then the author likes to drop hints and clues and whatnot about these other people, and then you don't really pick up on it until later. It's like, oh, that's what these are for. You know, that's what they're referring to back then, or that's why he said that thing. You know, and to be honest, I was gonna pass on this, but the more, like I said, the more I read on these chapters, the more I enjoyed it, and then the more I realized that this series is pretty good, man. And you guys shouldn't sleep on it. Anyways, the recent chapter, basically Victor is awake, you know, Andy's asleep, and he's basically, oh, and the cool thing is he dropped some hints, like, you know, when he first started, it's like, hey, what day is it? And then they were saying, Shen's like saying, what do you mean, what day? It's August 12 of this, you know. So I'm like, whoa, why does he know a certain rule that these people don't know? Like, where did he come from? Is he from the past? What happened in the past that we lost the ability to name days, you know? So they like to drop hints like that usually sometimes like you wouldn't catch. That it serves like a bigger purpose kind of thing. Even the names, right? Victor was going crazy, so the rest of the cast basically came in and were like, hey, we gotta hold you down, man. You can't destroy all these things. You know, You gonna go crazy again. And then these guys' name, I'm pretty sure their names correspond to some of their, like a little bit of a clue to their powers, you know? Because how to beat the game basically is to know the rules that they cannot abide by, or the rules and how their powers work, you know? But yeah, I'm really liking Victor so far. It's pretty cool. It's a big fight, and we're gonna see more of their abilities. You know, even though I feel like it's gonna end next chapter, because the unlucky girl basically did her boob thing. You know, it's just the most surface area of skin, man. You know, plus the more she likes the person, the heavier the bad luck befalls them. So we'll see what happens next chapter. I feel like it's just the key card will find a way to go back on Victor's head, you know, and then Victor will go away, because at this point Victor doesn't know Unluck girl, what's her name again? Fuck, it's escaping me right now, but Victor doesn't care about the boobs girl, and he's like, you know, I'm just gonna kill all of you. He was nicknamed the Conqueror by Shen. He knew about him. They had a promise from back then, apparently, with Andy and all that stuff. He just wants to conquer and fight. So, man, it's cool. You guys gotta read this. One of the sleeper, I like to think it's one of the sleeper hits for one of the more newer series from Shonen Jump. You know, I'm really enjoying it. I feel like this thing can go the distance, and I can't wait for the next chapter. I don't really have much to say on this one. I don't want to spoil it too much, I guess. But yeah, on to the next one. This time we'll be talking about Black Clover chapter 251, The Cursed Devil. I mean, look at that title page. That's pretty cute. Not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. It's charmy with if you guys remember a previous chapter, basically she did her food magic, and then her cotton magic, where she has a sheep basically turned into a wolf. You know what she reminds me of? Choji. Was it Choji from Naruto, where the dude always eats, and basically their clan eats because their power eats up a lot of energy, so they store fat, and then when they basically turn Super Saiyan mode, it eats up their fat deposits, their energy, so that's why they eat a lot. Kind of reminds me of that. It's basically what she did. Her food magic's OP. For like plebs and whatnot, she just uses her cotton magic. When she gets serious, she does her food magic. I really like her design, not gonna lie. I like it. I think it's cool, like her cotton magic basically became what is it? A sheep in or a wolf in sheep's clothing, basically. It's cool. I like her design. For this chapter, nothing much really happened. Everyone's still fighting. Nothing too big happened, except the fact that Vanica came in. Man, Vanica's pretty OP. I guess you could say the lieutenants, captains, whatever. They defeated the demon possessed enemies already from the Spade Kingdom, but guess what? Watch Vanica pull something out of her ass. Well, I mean, it is kind of, you know, kind of pulling something out of her ass. Basically, she's a cursed devil. She put a curse on her minions. They can't die, you know. They just keep reviving. There must be some sorry, I'm drinking iced coffee again, and some ice. That's why you hear the crunch. There must be some kind of way to counter this. Her powers. It's really strong. I mean, she's definitely good for like her position, one of the triads. She's basically cursed her minions to not die. Like, oh, you thought you were dead? You can't die yet. Here. Then the dude's being stepped on. Step on me again. Man, you never get. You see those a lot in like jokes in like forums and whatnot. When it's a scary MC or villain, and then, oh, I wish you'd step on me. Well, I guess here it is, in art form right there. Step on me some more. Yeah, she casts curses. That's her power, I guess. She casts curses, and her curse is for them to not die. They keep fighting for her. I don't know if it heals them at the same time, or you just keep fighting until. I think it heals them, because a few of them were pretty much destroyed already, and then suddenly they're up and about, and they're like, yeah. There must be a limit. I'm pretty sure there must be a limit. It's probably eating up like mana or something from her. But considering how she's demon possessed, she probably has large mana pools. But yeah, just a lot of fighting in this chapter, and now we're gonna see the girls fight. You know, this is a part where, like, if this was a movie in Marvel's, like in Endgame, you know, everyone has their like highlight reel. This is basically it. That's what this has been as so far. You know, we had the highlight reel from Yami, from Black Bulls, from the other characters. So now we're gonna see some highlight reels from the queen that helped them train, and then what's her name? The other two girls. We'll see how they're gonna handle the demon, because this is one of the main ones. This is one of the more the main villains, one of the triads. This one, she doesn't mess around. Right, so Lolopechka. What's her name? Lolopechka. The aloof queen of the, what's the name of the kingdom? Is it Heart Kingdom? I don't remember anymore. To be honest, I just read Black Clover because it's fun to read. I don't really read it for, you know, to get into like the metaphors, to the theories and whatnot. It's just very fun to read. That's what Black Clover is. The next series that I want to talk about is so new. In fact, it's so new there's only 4 chapters so far. And this is called Bone Collection. Bone Collection, if you guys didn't know, is basically what are they? Exorcists? Yeah, I guess it's a good word for it. They're exorcists, and they defeat yokai. And this one dude who is not talented at all. He sucks basically, even though he comes from a pretty respected family. His only strength basically is, instead of, you know, exercising demons, yokai, basically he can use the yokais as tools and power, which is one of the things I like about this series, by the way. Basically, he meets a class SS whatever, super, basically an OP demon that wants to be human because she's tired of the demon world. She just wants to live a normal life. And then him, basically, he just touches whatever part of the girl's body. You know, that's where the ecchi part comes in, I guess. And then he can touch whatever part of the body, and then whatever kind of bone is in there, humerus, ulnar, radius, whatever, he can touch his skull. I guess this gives a chance for the author to be creative, which is one of the main reasons why I like it. And then he gets a different kind of weapon and power with it, so which is really cool. That's one of the things I like about it so far. But overall, the manga, the series is very kind of gaggy. You know, it's not too serious so far. I mean, there's some plot there, but it's more gag and comedy than anything really, than more shonen. Probably a bit later on, because after all, it's only 4 chapters. But yes, chapter 4. Basically, going to the mountain. He got confronted by his childhood friend. It was actually as funny because they tried to like cover up the girl that ever since they found out that the girl is actually a yokai. And is she your niece? When your brother's young and you have a niece that's only like what, 3 years apart? Or yeah, like that doesn't make sense. So that's where I'm saying like it's a little bit gaggy, and The what do you call this? The backstory and the it feels like kind of in your face the way they did it in this fourth chapter. They just kind of drop all these development or all these information. What is it again? Info dump. I feel like they just did that because like, oh, well, we sent this assassin, like last chapter we sent this assassin, and then this chapter is like, oh yeah, the girls just explained this whole thing about the Federation or this company of the Exorcism Federation. Oh yeah, there's this 4 powerful leaders on the Exorcist group. And then they show this guy. It's like, oh, okay, the guy who's hunting you, this guy, this giant assassin in your previous chapter. Oh yeah, it's he's one of the leaders. Like, oh, okay, isn't that convenient? Okay, that's cool. So I think that could have been handled a little better, but it's fine. It's fine. The chapter is enjoyable. The series is enjoyable. I like the idea of different types of bones. Different bones gives him different kind of powers. And apparently, they mentioned it like 1,000 years before, or like every 1,000 years or so. Basically, an exorcist develops his power, or is born with this kind of power, where instead of being able to defeat yokais, he instead is able to use their power instead. So I'm thinking there's a little bit of deep lore behind that he could use, basically, because in the exorcism circles, he's basically shunned. His family tells him, "Hey, you better not use that power, okay? You can get in trouble. People don't like that shit. You know, you were supposed to kill yokais. We're not supposed to befriend them and use their power, kind of thing. You know." So I feel like there's a bit of a deeper lore that the author can work on it. You know, something like, because like I said, I mentioned it before they mentioned it. Like I mentioned it before, like they mentioned it. Like I mentioned that there was someone back then that did it, and he was I guess the catalyst of opening portals. That's why we have yokais now. I want to know how that happened, and I think he was the reason why people with that kind of power is kind of shunned, because he basically opened the portal that brought all these yokais in. So it's probably why they don't like people with that kind of power. I don't know what happened then, because as we all know in history, there's always like details that are lost. So I want to know what happened then. Other than that, it ended in a chapter where, one of the 4 leaders, what's his name? One of the 4 leaders. And and then the girl recognized one of the 4 leaders. Pyra. The yokai, the SS yokai. Yeah, she recognized one of the leaders. Like, oh, wait a minute, you seem familiar. And then the dude's like, hey. Oh, Abe. Akifuyu Abe. He's one of the 4 Exorcist Kings. And he recognized her immediately. He's like, hey, what's up, Pyra? And then Pyra's like, man, I think I know ya. But, yeah. You guys should read this. It's pretty fun. A little gaggy, but other than that, it's pretty enjoyable. I can sense this, story-wise, plot-wise, it could get a little deeper, you know? A little more expanded. I wish they executed the way they introduce Abe better. It just seems like info dump right there. Like, oh yeah, there's 4 seasons, 4 kings, all this stuff. Oh yeah, and then this guy is trying to assassinate you. Yeah, it's him, one of the 4 kings. So, prediction next chapter is he might impress Abe, and we're like, oh, you know what? That's pretty good. I'm one of the 4 kings, and you actually hurt me, or you actually made me use my 50% power, kind of thing. And then, you know, like, maybe I won't kill you. Maybe I'll just train you, you know? Maybe he's one of those kind of guys. We don't know. We really don't know anything about him except that he's there to assassinate our dude. And he's one of the 4 kings. You know? There's no possible way that he can beat him. You know? This isn't Mashle. This isn't magic and muscle. Magic and muscle. This is Mashle, dude. So yeah, that's predicting next chapter. Either he hurts him a little bit, makes him get into serious a little bit, and he'll be impressed, or he'll be impressed and takes him in as his apprentice kind of thing, or they'll have to run away, find a reason to run away. But I'm leaning more towards the impress, because I don't think it's that kind of manga yet. It could be, but not yet. Yeah, that's about it for this chapter. Bone Collection Chapter 4. Mashle, Magic and Muscle, Chapter 16. It's one of my favorite ones running in Jump as of recently. If you read through it and you'll be like, is this a Harry Potter parody? Yes it is. It's a Harry Potter parody. And it's a pretty damn funny one too. It's a good one. You know, our main character, Mash Vanded. I think this is Vanded. Mash. He's basically Saitama in the body where he's super OP. He's Saitama mixed with it's a good one. I don't know, take your pick. Saitama with an aloof kind of character, an absent-minded character, but a good character. You know, it's a good guy. It's our MC. Alright, the chapter opens up basically the houses, the 3 houses in the school. You know, like I said, it's a Harry Potter parody. It is what it is. You got the Lang, which is ability and ambition. This is basically the house Slytherin, I guess. The ambitious people. You got the evil bad guys there. Apparently, ambitious meets evil. I guess they got corrupted. I don't know. Talking out my ass here, but yeah. Apparently, all the evil guys are in line because they're too ambitious. They don't mind stepping on people, right? Orca is wisdom and willingness, and you got Adler, which is courage and conviction. Basically, a Gryffindor. Right? We finished the previous chapter was a test in the forest, and we see more of him in action. You know, and like I said, he's OP, man. He's like Saitama in the Harry Potter fanfic parody. He completed a coin, and then they started talking about this the 3 houses in the school. And he made new friends. The loudmouth dude, which usually you'd find in other manga as MC. He's a hot-blooded kind of thing. And there was a bit of a couple pages later. There was a bit of a flashback on the sorting house. Their version of Sorting Hat is basically a sorting unicorn. And it's funny because the horn is, instead of a horn, it looks like the end is a handle of a cane. And the unicorn was priding itself, like, I haven't been wrong in sorting these students. I'm really good at it. And then when it came to Vash, even his head is full of cream puffs. That's all he thinks about. So the freaking unicorn had to find had to do some mental gymnastics just to find a house to put him in. You're like, you think a lot about cream puffs. Cream puffs are this. Cream puffs are softly toasted outer shell, and they're filled inside cream. They're basically they're the strong, but they're kind on the inside. So you're gonna be you're gonna be Adler. You're gonna be the Adler house. Because he tried really hard, and all he sees is just Mash just thinking about cream puffs. Our MC's weird, man. One more. Let's get over his face. He has that forever okay face of Saitama. Remember that meme where just okay? I feel like he always has that face on. Even when he's fighting someone, he just has that face. On a serious note, he kept going. Basically told him, hey, you're kind of making a name for yourself, you know? Which is funny because most of the stuff that he does it by accident. He just either run into problems, he run into things, he run into objects that are part of like fucking plot, basically. And yeah, he doesn't proactively look for things to do. He just, you know, he's happy with his screen posts. Things happen to him. One of the main things that I do want to talk about is you see more, because previous chapters they said like, oh, the more lines you have, more powerful you have, the more magic powers you have, basically. They're talking about, oh, this one dude, he has 2 lines on his face. He has 2 magic lines, so basically he's powerful than us. And he just kicked their ass, dude. You know, even the other dude basically become their friend. It's like, oh, 2 lines? Nah, that's nothing. And now we actually see one of the leaders of the Wolf House. What's the name of the Wolf House again? It's not Adler. Orca. Oh no, it's a wolf, right? It's Lang, right? It's Lang. Yeah, Lang. Lang House is this dude, and he has 3 lines. So we got a bit of a power creep going on here. So we're gonna have lines basically differentiate like how powerful people are. But what about the headmaster? I don't remember seeing many lines on him, did I? Or maybe it doesn't have to be in the face, right? What if our boy is so powerful his black hair is not actually hair, it's actually the lines of his magic power? You know what I mean? Yeah, basically this is the first time we saw another one with 3 lines. I think as far as I can remember. You guys can probably correct me on that. And here he is, he's running into trouble again, you know? He got lost, and there's one way to advance the plot. And it's funny, the interaction between them. The boss of the Lang house basically accidentally broke the door, and then he was like, "Oh, dude, I broke your door, man." And then before he even said that, he even says like, "Oh, dude, you know you're talking to a doll." he had to insult them a bit. Like, hey dude, you know you're talking to a doll, right? Oh, and I broke your door. Oh, thanks for telling me that. Oh, I can't wait for the next chapter. This one's pretty fun. It's one of my more favorite ones. Not as much as Chainsaw Man though, that's for sure. Chainsaw Man is just cherry right now. Which is what I'm going to talk about next. We're going to talk about my most favorite series running in Jump today. And no, it's not One Piece, because like I said earlier, I stopped reading it in almost 2 years now. It's still in one arc, so I'm gonna wait. I feel like One Piece benefits from reading it from arc to arc. I think you get a better sense of its scope and how big it is, because if you read by chapter, you kind of lose the setup and the bigger picture. But if you read it by arc, you get a better understanding of what Oda is trying to do. So I've decided to stop reading it. I did it before with the Doflamingo arc, with the Battle with Doflamingo arc, and then I realized like I think I should do this more often. And then when I finally was able to convince my friend to start reading One Piece, I actually ended up rereading the whole thing. If you're gonna reread the whole thing, actually there's a bunch of individuals who started coloring One Piece chapters. I suggest you guys read that instead. It's much more enjoyable. But yeah, after rereading it, reading the colored version of the chapters, I realized that it's better to reread it. It's better to read it in arcs. I feel like you get a better sense of the bigger picture in One Piece if you read it by arcs. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm waiting for one arc to end, and then I'll read it. Yeah, that's ice. Don't mind that. But yeah, I stopped like right in the beginning when they got in one arc, and then I think before they got introduction to Kaido. But yeah, that's why you guys are gonna wonder why I'm not gonna talk about One Piece in this video / podcast. But on to the point. Chainsaw Man, chapter 70. Can't believe it's over a year already. Chapter 70, Chainsaw Man. This is my favorite series running in Shonen Jump right now, like I said. And on this chapter, we started with Denji, being Denji as he is. He's a cheeky little bastard. He beat the doll devil infused with darkness. The darkness devil powers, you know? And then you see him picking up this one of the dolls, using blood to regenerate. You know, he's being cheeky, and then he's about to defeat the doll devil, and then he, being a cheeky little bastard, he was like, "Hey, yeah, I don't care if you keep coming to me, just don't come looking for me on weekends because I'm off, you know." And then being the doll devil is basically, oh, you're not smart, you're not crazy, you're just stupid. That's why you don't fear me. Because if you guys didn't know, fear feeds devils. They became stronger the more you fear them. So if you don't fear them at all, it kind of works in your favor. It's like it kind of like weakens them a little bit, not by much, because I think it's still their power level is mostly by how many people fearing them. The more, that's why the top dogs, the primal fears, are so strong, because they're kind of like innate fears that we humans have. And also they haven't lost not once. They haven't died once. I mean, that's why they're primal fears. Which I gotta say that their designs are freaking amazing. When I first saw that with the Darkness Devil, I had chills, I had goosebumps, man. Anyways, sidetrack. Yeah, we have Denji being smug. It's like, yeah, man, don't come with me at weekends because it's my off, you know. But I'll fight you anytime. I'll kill you anytime. And we've seen this a few times in the series already. You know, when people get smug, it usually bites them in the ass. You know, this is no Game of Thrones season 7 where Arya is just fucking get stabbed so many times and still lives. No. Here, if you're careless, you usually die. More often than not. You know, there's some consequences to your action here. Especially when they do a lot of contracts and then they actually pay for it. So, yeah. Was it second page? You see, like, Denji being a little smug, a little cheeky bastard. And then, guess who comes out of nowhere? Kwanzi. There's a badass, apparently, she's the first devil hunter. Just slices Denji's head off. It's funny too. That little panel right there. Okay. Being smug and then out of nowhere, yep, bites you in the ass almost immediately. Cuts your head off. He's okay. He's a hybrid. He'll live. He just needs some blood and then he'll regenerate. Plus Makima is there, so he'll be fine. But yeah, basically you see Kwanzi here says truce is over. Because, you know, they had a little bit of a truce going on trying to fight the doll devil. And then we see Kwanzi's two of her lovers, lesbian lovers, left. Because the others got turned into dolls or died during the fight. We see the doll one. Or we see the Halloween one, and I think the doll looking one. Or the, yeah. She looks like a doll, that one. Got stitches on her face and whatnot. And then, now we actually see, the next page we see, Halloween's power. Which is really, really cool. Not gonna lie. And, that little throw, not throwback, no, that little nod to Dragon Ball with the Halloween. That's cool. Basically, Halloween is sophisticated as fuck, man. she knows the knowledge of the universe. You know, she knows all the secrets apparently, and apparently when you do that, all you can think of is Halloween. You know, so she basically put the doll devil in her mind. I guess she showed like, oh, you want to know everything? It's like it's a burden, you know. That's why on one of the characters before, they basically said ignorance is bliss. Because apparently, if you know everything, you get messed up, and all you think about is Halloween. That's basically what happened to our Halloween girl right here, and that's why she's like that. And that's basically how they defeated the doll devil here. Basically, fucked up her mind so much, she turned into like the Halloween chick. Which is cool because that's probably one of the best ways to defeat her, because the doll devil's power is kind of OP. You know, all you need is touch you one time, and then you become one of my minions. You know, that's how the doll devil works. Touch you, you're my minion, and basically she can have Santa Claus. She can make another Santa Claus from anywhere, just as long as she touches you or one of her dolls touch you. You know. So since she's connected to all of her dolls, you see it here that once she got affected by Halloween, and basically all her dolls started turning the same way. They all start speaking Halloween, Halloween. It's a really cool panel right here. You see it. Basically, she's falling down. Almost like a scene from Interstellar. You know, the fourth dimension black hole kind of thing. We're in the bookcases and bookcases. It's almost like that. You know, she's falling, and basically she's dying. On the outside, she's dying. She's burning while saying Halloween all over, again and again. Really amazing stuff. I like the designs and the way the author envisions the panels here. And on the next page, guess who we see? We see what's his name? Kishibe, right? That's his name. And the dude that fought, surprisingly, Quan Chi in almost equal terms. You know, he held his own, not equally, because Quan Chi never really did like her transformation, but she's quick as fuck. You know, even without transformation, and then the guy fought him. Almost on equal footing. I said almost equal footing, not the same footing, okay? Calm down. And you see them putting on blindfolds. Well, we know what that means. When someone puts on blindfolds from the demon hunting division, we know what that is. It's basically shit's about to go down because Makima is coming. Right? Makima. Why did I call it Makima? Yeah. And yep, you see here Makima coming in, and she's recovered. You know, her arms are fine, and looky here what she has. She has a sword. You know, so she probably has one of her demons out. Because higher ups say you can't see what kind of demon Makima is contracted with, so they always have to wear blindfold. And then it's funny is, considering how OP Kwanji is, as soon as she saw Makima, she just fucking, whoop, sorry, I surrender, I'm done, you win, you know? I remember reading that, it's funny. She just gives up right away. And then, someone mentioned this when I was reading the forums and whatnot. Makima is basically saying, like, a corpse is stalking, which is a little bit of cheekiness on Makima's part, because in a way you can say it's like a bit of a revenge and like a bit of a throwback, because in the beginning when Kwanji and her lesbian lovers came into Japan, one of them was speaking in, is it Cantonese? Mandarin? I'm not too sure, I don't remember. But she said one of her lesbian, I think it was the one with the weird hair, the bat one, I think it was the bat one, basically said to the demon hunter, she was saying like, oh, a corpse is stalking, you know? And then they all died. They all got their heads cut off. And this time, Makima is basically saying the same thing. But she's saying it back to Kwanji and her posse, you know? And guess what happens? They all got their heads cut off too. But we know they're gonna survive. Specifically Kwanzi. I don't know about her lovers though. They might be dead. But usually hybrids are much more resilient than that, so I'm pretty sure Kwanzi is gonna live. But Makima is using her demons. Pretty sure. That's why they had the blindfold. So they could be dead. But the thing is, Makima likes to collect these hybrids and then turn them into her minions. Kind of like the dude from the hotel. And I think you guys remember that, the hotel. The dude died that was friends with a girl, the one that's always suffering. And then he later came back and became, what's his name, Power? Yeah, where he berserked. He was also in the hell with them. That guy. It was confirmed that it was him. He died, but he got turned into a hybrid. He got turned into a ghoul, or one of the hybrids. So we could potentially see Kwanzi back, but this time as one of the on our team, as one of the people in our team, on the Demon Hunter division. You know, we shall see. But yeah, their heads got cut off, and next thing you know, after the Halloween attack, we see the rest of the dolls. They're all shouting Halloween, Halloween. I don't know if they're gonna start dying too, because their main boss, the master, is pretty much dead. The minds got fucked up, so I'm not sure if the dolls are gonna end up the same fate. And we see here actually one of the brothers. Like I said, the immortal brother. See, like I was mentioning earlier, if you're smug, you get overconfident, you get cheeky bastard, tends to bite you in the ass. See, like in the beginning, they were like, "Oh, we're immortal. We're never gonna die." And then next thing you know, they're in Japan. Immediately, like 2 of the brothers fucking died. They're not so immortal after all, you know. And then we see here the last of the brother, and then I don't know if he's just saying Halloween, Halloween, because he was also touched by the doll, and then he became one of the dolls of Master, or he's just trying to say that because everyone around him is saying Halloween. Because considering his facial expression here, he's like sweaty, and it looks like he's nervous. So could it be that he's just trying to fit in, type of deal? I'm not too sure. Or maybe he's. Was he one of the hybrids? I'm trying to remember. No, he's not one of the hybrids, right? He's not. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I don't remember anymore, but either he's trying to blend in, or he is actually one of the dolls, but due to his powers, he's not completely a doll. And then his facial expression is just basically because he's trying to fight it. He's like, "What's going on with me?" You know? Because he has the memories of whatever the person he copied or he took over. Right? And then now he's just saying Halloween, Halloween. And then we see this one of the reporters saying like, "Oh, there's this group of people here saying Halloween. Maybe there's a virus. I don't know what's going on." And then basically we have Kishibe here saying, "Man, I don't want to see a thing, dude." So this could potentially be him saying like, you know what? My former colleague Kwanzi just fucking got owned by Makima, and she's like the best partner I could have if I want to fight and kill Makima, and now she's dead, so I'm like, I think my plan to kill Makima just went down the drain, so you know what? Screw this, man. I don't want to see a thing. I'd rather not know anything at all. So that could be a thing here. That could be him admitting defeat. And he gives us his plans to fight Makima, kind of deal, you know. But yeah, we can only tell in the future. But for now, that's about it, man. That's Chainsaw Man Chapter 70. One of the best running series in Shonen Jump right now. Hands down, in my honest opinion, it's Shonen Jump's dark horse. It's one of the best, and I can't wait for it when they finally announce an anime for it, because man, I'm for sure it's gonna have an anime. And if they do, they better not mess it up, because this series is too good. Anyways, that's it for now. That's me talking about Shonen Jump series. Most of it, the ones that I find interesting anyways. Some of the other ones like Act Age, I tried reading it. It's not for me. Maybe I'll read it into some more, but that one seems to be getting popularity. What's the new one? Morime? I think, was it Morime? One of the Morime King? Is that what it was? Another gag manga, but it was something about beetles and whatnot. It was kind of okay. First chapter didn't really grab me so much. What else? This Time for Torture Princess. That one's actually pretty adorable. It's more of like flavor of the week kind of manga, but we'll see if we find out more. It's funny. It's mostly food related. Basically, you get the princess gets tortured by food. It's funny. It's lighthearted. It's fluffy kind of thing. There's no actual plot to it. Plot's very thin. But you never know. It could turn out something like Katekyo Hitman Reborn. Right? If you guys remember Reborn back then, it was basically the same. It's like kind of like Saturday's cartoon kind of thing. Every week there's just a standalone story, and then out of nowhere start getting plot. We'll see, because the art's really, really good. What else? One of the new ones that I stopped reading. Dr. Stone. I remember watching the first few chapters of it, and then I stopped reading it because I caught up to it. That's like way back, and there's only like 20 chapters. So there's already 150 chapters in that one now. So I haven't caught up to it. And anime came out, never even watched it, because I remember that season there was like way too many good shows. We never learned. Watch the anime halfway. It was okay. I don't know if I'll read the manga. We'll see. Maybe I should start reading. Start catching up on all this. Jujutsu Kaisen, this one's pretty good too. I remember reading it back then. I think I stopped where they first introduced the human who can manipulate the souls. Not human, I mean one of the enemies who can manipulate souls. I think that's where, so that was early. That was like 20 chapters in, I think. I caught up to it and then I stopped reading it because like, oh, this is pretty good. I'll stop reading it and let it advance. And now it's like what is it on? 107. So it's a lot. I have a lot of catching up to do there. There's no new chapter for Hell. What is it? Jigoroku, Hell's Paradise. That one's pretty good too. I remember reading the one shot and I'm like, oh, I love this. And then I binge on it during the lockdown. So there's only a chapter for that this week. So probably next week. We'll see on Spy Family, same. I caught up to it and then I was like, oh, this is a bi-weekly thing, so I'll wait till more chapters come out. So I think I stopped at chapter 15 or something. I know it's a bit further than that, but not too much. So what else? Gravity Boys, I never read it. It's chapter 21 right now, so maybe I'll read it if it appeals to me. I know there's a few new ones that are out for Shonen Jump, but we'll see if it appeals to me. Guardian of the Witch, I remember reading it, first couple chapters. It wasn't my thing. It's kind of generic to me, to be honest. So I just kind of dropped it. It's kind of your usual fantasy kind of manga. It's like, oh, okay, I'm okay. I don't need to read that. Mitama's Security Spirit Busters is one of I know it's gaining popularity. It's supposed to be funny. I've never actually read it, so I might give that a try. That one's chapter 37 at the moment. Mission Yozakura Family. These are the spies, I believe. The one with the brother, and then they got married kind of forcefully. Read Spy Family. I think that one's much better. Yeah. But if you're into that, that's fine too. I guess that's more of a weekly thing. If you like that one, go for it. But I prefer Spy Family. I don't know if it changed, but I remember reading the first 2 chapters of it first chapter when it was I think when it was a one shot. I read it, or it was like when they first introduced the first chapter, I think. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I'll just read Spy Family. I don't really need to read this. It pretty much has the same premise, just some variations, but pretty much, Spy Family. Just read Spy Family. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's about it. There's some other stuff there, but yeah, Demon Slayer is finished. I think the spin-off will be about one of the Fire Pillars side story kind of thing. It would have been cool if it was a present day, but I guess since there's no more demons at that time, they don't really want to continue that. They're just gonna do a tangent story. But that's about it for this week. I know I titled this Manga Mondays, but it's actually by the time I upload this, it'll probably be a different day. Hey, I just want to talk about manga, man. Most of my friends are kind of behind on manga. So I thought, do some stuff here. We'll see how it goes, see if I keep doing this. So for now, that's it for me. And thanks for listening. Thanks for stopping by. Ruin out.